Hello. So I was thinking the other day about what advice I would give to myself if I was in my early 20s that would mean I could have a better career. And I do a lot of dog walking. I thought about it a lot while I was walking my dog. And I've come up with 6 things. So it's basically an essential skill. So this is for a great career, an essential skill. Get good at one thing. And I'll go into some detail. Keep an eye on the future, like trends and things like that. Do a talk, presentations, stand up in front of your peers. Do regular job interviews and daily record keeping. So for essential skills, in most jobs that I've had, I spend my time answering the boss's questions a lot. It isn't just a case of doing X, Y, and Z. So a lot of the time it boils down to numbers and data, and how many of this is compared against this, and how to munge that data and parse it properly to get the right outcome. So I would seriously recommend, if you're dealing with numbers and data, is doing an Excel course. Just simply, do an Excel course so that you can, because ultimately management don't do anything else. If you gave your boss an Excel spreadsheet, he can work with that. Okay, so use Excel, go on an Excel course, work out how to do all the crazy functions and stuff. Learn to parse data in Linux if that's your role, using awk and sed and some of the other tools. But also JSON is more prevalent now. There's loads of JSON, it's everywhere. So make sure you can parse JSON, and a really good tool to use is JQ for that. So just get good at it. Just get good at parsing data, putting it together and presenting it in a format that your boss wants, because he will love you. Not necessarily he, but they will love you. And being the person that can do stuff and make stuff happen and make the data fit into the right format is going to be a useful person, and it will help you. It will help you to be able to do that. I do with data a lot, and being able to put it into those formats has helped me. It helps my boss. If your boss looks good because they're going to take that to their management or do something with it, then you look good as well. The other thing is to be really good at one thing. Just one thing, and this one thing will change over time, but be good at something now and then keep an eye on the future and then be good at something else, but I'll get into that. So in your job, you're expected to do lots and lots of things, and that's just common sense. You've got a core set of roles to do, covering a lot of different areas, and you just get on with that on a daily basis. But there's going to be something about your job that you're going to do more than anything else, and you'll know better than anyone else what that is. Like for me, it's like Ansible, and it's automation. So get really good at that. So become the SME, become the person that people go to for advice and help, offer to help them on their projects, just any opportunity you get, push that. For me, it's automation tools. I started on Puppet, I got good at that, and then I moved on over to Ansible because kind of Ansible was the new kid on the block and everyone was using it, and it was backed by Red Hat, and getting good at that one thing, and it will change over time, but just keep being good at that one thing for like 80% of your job. Because I do a lot of Ansible, I now write Ansible courses and I teach those. I do regular talks on Ansible, and I even make loads of YouTube videos, which is kind of, just check out my channel and you'll see loads. So find your Ansible, be the person who is the SME at your company for that product, or at least one of them, and you will know you can't go wrong with that. Keep an eye on the future. So keep one eye on the future. What future trends are coming your way? We've recently moved into the cloud. So cloud was new, but it wasn't then just cloud. It was AWS, it was Azure, it was Chrome, it was Google GCP. So look at those areas. And it will be obvious. What's coming. We've recently had Kubernetes in certainly my area. So you can see these trends coming, and you can see that everyone has kind of jumped on the bandwagon and they really want to learn it, and so just stay one step ahead. So you should be looking now to what's next, what's after Kubernetes, where's it going to go to? So keep an eye on those trends, go and find out what they are. Just because I work in IT, you might be in a slightly different area, but go and work out what the trends are saying about the future of your role. And once you know what they are, go and learn about them and get good at them. Even if you aren't using them at work yet, you'll be in a great position should an opportunity come up where your company wants to do a POC, or maybe a new team wants to do a POC, and you've already kind of done a bit of work on this, or maybe you'll be able to move into a different team, or go and even get a job elsewhere. Using cloud resources to set up your own test environments is a really good, cost-effective way of doing it. You've got VirtualBox on your PC and a few other things, but just go and do it in the cloud. Then you've got access to all the tools that the people are going to use when they do this PSE. They'll do it in the cloud probably, and then you already know what you're doing. You're a step ahead. Look to Udemy and other learning platforms, and also seek out free resources on YouTube. When I want to learn something new, maybe for either a job interview or I know something's coming up at work that's going to change, I generally turn to Udemy, just because people have the whole, here's how to set up your environment, here's how to do these things. And as soon as I've got halfway through the course, I've got a pretty good understanding of how to set it up, how to use it, what use cases are, and I can take that and use it in my job. So it just keeps me sort of one step ahead. Another thing to do is to think about doing a presentation or a talk. I'm not talking about a keynote at AWS reInvent in New York. I'm not talking about that in front of 2, 3, 4, 5,000 people. That's ridiculous. Just look at your work and your interests and find things that you like to do. For me, I work with Ansible. I keep coming back to this example, but that's just me. And I knew for me it was difficult to manage Windows servers with Ansible. It was a bit tricky to set it up. It wasn't quite clear, the instructions on how you do it. So I worked out how to do it, and then I put my name down for a talk at Ansible London, and then I went and told some people about it. So find your talk. There'll be an area or some stuff that you're working on or your interests at your work, and it's really great to do it. Once you've done a talk, or it gives you, it sort of proves to other people what you're like, who you are. You have to decide what you're going to talk about, and you've got to prepare for it. That's harder than people think. If you've got live demos, they need lots of preparation and practice. You've got to design your slides, you've got to create your workflow, you've got to have confidence to stand up in front of a group of people and present to them. You will feel great along the way, and try and stop having this fear of, people are going to, they're going to know more than me, so they're going to call me out when I'm doing my talk, and then everyone's going to know I don't really know what I'm talking about, and it's going to be awful. And it's like that doesn't really happen. Most of the time people go there because they want to learn, not because they want to put someone down. So be brave, have confidence, in what you're doing, and it will go all right. You're going to feel great. You're going to meet some really good people along the way. And a little secret about work is that the network that you create and you meet while you do these things outside of work will give you some of the greatest opportunities that you will ever get in your life. The people you know and their associates and their friends will give you opportunities. I've been invited to events. I've been offered jobs. Haven't even had to do an interview. Just been offered jobs, just because somebody recommended me or my name came up in a conversation, and giving a talk and networking with your peers will open up doors for you. It really will. Doing job interviews. So it might sound a bit odd if you're not looking for a job. That's fine. But believe me, it's a really good thing to do. So you may be happy in your role. You may get well paid. You may be happy with your benefits and generally fine in your team. That's great. Just carry on. It's fine. But doing 1 or 2 interviews a year can be a very positive experience. So firstly, you have to update your CV. So you've got to make it current, especially if you haven't done it for a few years. You've got to update your skills and compare it against the market so that, you're kind of ready to go should the need arise. Applying for jobs is interesting. You'll get to see what else is out there, where those jobs are, what sort of salaries are being offered, whether they're similar to yours or more or less. There'll be some interesting roles as well, and you might be quite surprised at what else is out there. At the interview, you may need to do some technical tests, do some pre-screening calls. This is perfect. You don't need the job. It's fine. You don't need it. You can be calm, you can be relaxed, you can think more clearly, and this will come across when you do your interview. You can fail at any point. It doesn't matter because you don't need the job. This is just an experience. This is to find out what the trends are, what questions are getting asked at interviews, what works, what doesn't work, and you can work all this out in an arena that doesn't matter, because when you do need to do it, you're ready. So the intention isn't necessarily to leave your current job, but by doing interviews, the preparation gives you an advantage when it eventually does come the time to move on. And who knows, you might even get offered your dream job with better benefits and a higher salary, kind of by accident, And then lastly, I just want to say about my own personal, this is something that saved me a lot of time. It's my own personal recommendation, and it does sound very boring, but it's literally saved me hours a day, hours a week. So every day, the first thing I do is open up a notepad and I save it for that date, and it's in year, month, day format. And then every time you save one, it's in order, and you can flip it between old and new or new and old. It's up to you. I write out any tasks I've got for that day, so include meetings, project tasks, that sort of thing. Then as you work through the day, if you make progress on an item, write a one-liner to say what's happened. If you get stuck on an item, say another one-liner, why am I stuck, what's happened. Make notes of any links, any commands you're running, any scripts you're running, and any other helpful information that gets the job done. Save it, make another one tomorrow. It only takes a few minutes a day. Just carry on doing this, days, weeks, months. And now what you've got is an archive of all the work that you've done and why you've done it. So on any given day in the past, you can open that file and tell your boss what you did. You've got a store of useful information, you've got links, you've got commands, you've got how to do things. It's going to speed up your work. I've been in situations where my boss wanted a weekly report on everything that I've done, and now I can simply open up my week, cut and paste all the bits I need into an email and send it off to him. And it is boring, but it will save you so much effort and time, and it will prove to people that just how busy you are. So I recommend doing that as well. So if I would have told my 25-year-old self some of this stuff, I think it would have made a difference earlier on in my career. But hopefully you can benefit from it. So these are my tips and my kind of advice in my line of work, and I hope you find them useful. So yeah, like, subscribe. Let me know if I've missed any out or anything else that's important below in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers. Bye-bye.